Fellas, how y'all doing today?
What up, though? What up, though?
Coach Jimmy, you there?
Yep, I'm here.
All right. So, welcome to Ohio Broncos Weekly. This is our pilot podcast. This is our pilot episode where we bring you live news from Bronco Nation. I got our player rep, Mr. Lynn Townsend. I got our owner, offensive coordinator, Mr. Coach Jimmy Melton, and I got my co-host, Donna Foster, assistant defensive coordinator, with us tonight. How y'all fellas doing?
Doing fine. How you? How you?
I'm
Doing
good.
great.
I'm good. All right, so we ain't gonna keep it. We ain't gonna hold y'all too long. We just go ahead and jump right on into these questions then. So I'm gonna ask you this first question, Coach Melton. Yes, I'm calling you. I'm being professional by calling you Coach Melton. This question is for you. What sparked your interest in coaching?
Mm. Uh, to be honest, what sparked it was 2018 with the Silverbacks. Excuse me. Formed a great relationship with the players, and then we needed an offensive coordinator, so I kind of stepped up and just fell in love with it after that.
For sure.
All right, you got something for him, Coach Foster?
Yeah. What you saying that is what did you find the most? How can I put this? What was more challenging? Was it switching from being a head coach to an owner or a player to a coach?
So that's kind of a loaded question, or a catch-22, right? Because it's hard both ways.
Fact.
But being a player, that mindset never leaves, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you've been in the huddle with these guys, so you know what the expectations are. So going from a player to a coach, you think it's easy. Like, I know what my guys want, right?
Yeah.
But actually putting that product that all of you want together on the field and leading it was the hardest thing for me to do personally.
Okay. Okay.
And okay, so I actually want to get into something before we actually get into more deeper questions with
Mm-hmm.
Coach Melton. So a lot of people probably is wondering what is Mud Boys. I'm gonna let either you or Lynn, it don't matter. One of y'all. Well, I'm gonna let it don't matter either one of y'all. I'm gonna let y'all answer that question and let people know why we call ourselves the Mud Boys.
Lynn, you want to answer that one?
Yeah, because I think Lynn the one came up with that. Didn't you come up with that, Lynn?
Okay, so I came up with the hashtag, but this came directly from Jimmy. So Jimmy, you can explain what it means.
All right, so what it was is when the Broncos started, man, nobody wanted us, right? And we couldn't get a field. We couldn't, like, nobody trusted us pretty much. So we
Mm-hmm.
went down to Lane Field here in Akron, and we just started a team. Before the Broncos was actually created, we took a group of guys on a West Virginia and played in what they called the Mud Bowl.
You gonna choke.
And I'm not joking. Literally, we're playing a game and we see people walk out of their back doors down the side of this mountain to
Oh.
play a group of 20 guys, right?
Oh.
And then we came back home. And the ironic thing was our first practice was right after a downpour. We didn't have turf field. We didn't have the funds for indoor practices. Like, we was literally practicing in mud.
Mm.
And that's how the Broncos was created. Like, every week it was do we have the money for referees? Do we have the money for indoor? Do we have the money for a field? Do we have money for this? So literally when it says we came from the mud, we literally practiced and played in the mud every week.
Out the mud.
So we always said if you wanted to be a Bronco, you had to literally get it out of the mud just like we did.
Yeah,
And
fact.
that's where it came from.
I respect that.
All right, and it's like I said, it's so crazy because I got this video, Jimmy, and that's another thing when we say mud boys, we really did come out the mud with it. I mean, I'm a second year mud boy. I'm a second year Bronco. I came in the second year, but when I came, I remember we didn't even have the same color jerseys. We didn't have the same color helmets. And like you said, we was struggling with players. Like it was kind of crazy. But Jimmy, I'm gonna play this video for you, Jimmy, and I want to know if you remember this game, because I definitely remember it pretty good.
What's up, folks? OGK Weekly, 2017, third year doing this. Gotta love it. Playing them Broncos today, week number 1. Gotta tame them wild stallions down to that pony level. Gotta take them down a couple pegs. This is an OFL PAFL matchup, so we gotta represent our league. Gotta represent our Medina. Gotta represent the state. Gotta represent this world. Oh, Medina! Don't you dare be sour. Put your hands together for your world famous 2-time champs and feel the power. Woo! It's OGK time. Let's go. OGK 2016 getting this season started off right with an early game touchdown pass. Beautiful pass, beautiful catch, broken play. Gotta love it. Taking advantage of the defense's mishaps. And then speaking of defense, getting back there, getting Quello under pressure. I almost got that fumble, but Colin followed it up. Defense doing what it does best, swarms that ball. But then defense doing what it shouldn't do, drop the interception into the hands of the Broncos that was just sitting there waiting for the touchdown pass. Anyways, Broncos. What's going on with your secondary? But we get all the way down there and we don't score. That is something that ends up coming back to bite us. And this is how we don't score, because the interception. Oh no. And as you can see on the sidelines, there's some laundry on the field, folks. But he could go all the way. We have no idea what the flag is. We have a pretty good idea that it's a block in the back, and it was. This play came back, and it actually came back to haunt the Broncos for a second because we had the quarterback wrapped up, and boom, Tyler Curtin comes there, cleans it up. And then the very next play happened. Derek Mackey getting through the line, and Tyler Curtin finishing it off for the safety. OGK up 8-6 at the moment. Here we go. Dr. Smooth Bays doing what he does best. Take that ball and doing work, folks. Gets all the way down to the 2.5-ish yard line. But, folks, we failed to complete this drive. There was a penalty, lots of things. We got stopped on 4th down right there. We can't be doing that. This is late in the game. We can't tackle Quello. You can't be doing this if you want to win football games, because if that man gets loose and blocks happen like that, he is going a long ways. This was in the third quarter. They're late in driving, and then we go into the fourth quarter, and they're right there with us. We're allowing them to stay in this game. We had the ball. We had tried to punt, and we fumbled it. Derek takes it, goes off to the right, tries to get some blocks, and he gets tackled short of the first down. And then the Broncos, a couple plays later, take advantage of our mishaps. I hit Quello as he threw that ball. Doesn't matter because he stepped right into that pass, threw a great pass, and it was a touchdown. And now we're losing. So guess what? We got to give that ball to Bays. We got to give that ball to the doctor because he's got the medicine for us. But 2 plays later, interception. I don't even have anything to say. 2 plays later, interception. That was so frustrating, and it's frustrating to watch right now. But they made a good play. We didn't. That's all it is. All we had to do is contain on this. It was 3rd and 6, and we couldn't. This was the ball game, folks. Broncos win 8-12.
Hey,
Man,
All right.
can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Lynn, was you on that OGK team at that time?
Yes, I was.
Okay, I had to. I'm like, I think Lynn was on that team.
He was. And I had to go and find it because I had forgot all about it. And I was like, oh, what was dude's name? And I couldn't think of his name to go to the page and find it. But I want to ask you a question on this one, Jim. Do you think, even though that was the preseason game, do you think that kind of I'm not gonna say solidified us, but it made people look at us different as the Broncos? Like now you kind of got a little respect because you just knocked off, like he said, the 2-time champs. Do you think that changed? Like, do you think it changed our mentality as players and coaches?
um, so I remember that game very well because OGK hasn't lost an Ohio team at that point for 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
and we had this region's attention before that game.
Mm-hmm.
That game kind of put us over attention at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Like that game put us at, we just knocked off the 2-time champion who's been undefeated in Ohio for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So people was looking at us. We was cocky, right? We knocked off OGK. We're an OFL team. We're at that time we're a bottom tier team, and that's what the OFL was. And OGK is a powerhouse. They're the juggernaut. We don't care about their internal issues. We have our own.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that gave our players a different kind of swag that season.
Mm-hmm.
It put us on a different level in house than we had the previous years coming into that season.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that win over OGK really started that season has kind of, we're here and we're the Broncos.
Yeah, man, because that's a big time statement to win and to win and look the way that y'all looked. You know, it's not the ideal look far as an organization, but you just starting off fresh and you looking to get some wreck, and y'all was hungry. That let everybody know around semi-pro and around the region and around in Ohio, like y'all was something to be messed with. And it was like, yeah, man, these dudes, they young, they fast, and they get after the ball. You know, everybody had their own problems, but y'all definitely shocked the world with beating OGK like that.
And my thing is, do you see how we looked in that game, uniform wise?
Mm-hmm.
So that's where ultimately when people ask where the Mud Boys come from, look at that game. We're playing in a powerhouse.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be matching uniform, matching helmets, matching jerseys. I think I've seen 3 or 4 different Bronco jerseys out there.
Mm-hmm.
It was a
You
blue.
know,
It was a dude in the all blue.
So yeah, and that's where Mud Boys come from. Like, look at that game. That game, so and nothing against OGK, right? Jermaine and them, top-notch organization.
Right.
But who cares about their issues, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was our mindset going into the game. Who cares? We know they got problems.
Yeah.
We know OGK's on a downfall. We know that. We're going to put them out their misery. We're going to beat them week 1,
Yeah.
and that's going to be the decline. That was our mindset. So that's where really Mud Boys comes from. It is, and that game solidified it for us.
Thanks.
So
Damn.
Lynn, oh my bad. So Lynn, so being that you was on that OGK team that season, and now you seeing it again, and now how do you feel about that? As going into that game, did y'all feel superior going against us at that time, or was it just one of those? This is just a tune-up game. Let's just show up and see what happens.
So what I will say is that we felt better than we actually were at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So, but that's the history that I wanted to give the people. I wanted to give the people the history of why we calling ourselves Mud Boys, and it's different reasons of why we calling ourselves Mud Boys. Like I said, it comes from us literally, like Coach Melton said. We was scraping up money to get uniforms. We was scraping up money to get referees. Like we wasn't matching with uniforms. We just wanted to play ball.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say pro advancement. I know they're trying to change the name from semi-pro, but I'm gonna say pro advancement. We just wanted to play football. And now pro advancement isn't like that. It's about who looks the best now.
Yeah.
Back then, we didn't care who looked like what. Again, like Coach Foster said, we had players with all blue helmets, orange helmets, blue and orange helmets. We didn't care. We just wanted to play ball.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, like I said, think I think that game kind of opened our eyes and our coaches' eyes to think we could beat anybody possibly.
Yeah.
We stuck with the two-time, not national, two-time champions. Yeah, we could compete with anybody, and
Mm-hmm.
that was the mindset we had going into the rest of that season. But again, that's the history of Mud Boys, old Broncos. But Lynn, so let me ask you this question though, because I know you're a Kent State alum. You played receiver over at Kent State. What inspired you to pursue a career in football?
Man, I've been a lover of the game for as long as I can remember. If you ask my grandmother, she'll tell you, I was 5 years old saying, when I grow up, I'm gonna play football. Like that was my first love, really. And I mean, me still playing tells you how much I love the game.
Facts.
You got something for him, Coach Foster?
Lynn, let me ask you a question. You've been playing semi-pro for a long time now. What is the challenge that you feel it is from starting off from the beginning until how you see what semi-pro is now?
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of different things or factors that go into it. I think social media changed from when I first started because the boards didn't have everybody on there saying whatever they say. You didn't have as many teams, so when I first started playing, you gonna compete for a spot or you're not gonna play, and it's like you got a guy now that I didn't get to play, so I'm just starting my own team.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of that going around. And again, like I said, no knock to the new generation of pro advancement players. But it's definitely a new generation though. And like I said, like Lynn said, is people aren't competing anymore. It's easier to it's not easier because if you know the groundwork you got to put in behind the scene work is actually a lot harder to start a team than you to just go and try to outwork somebody to get on the team or get a starting position. So again, I won't knock teams that do it that just starts because they're not getting playing time, but it's definitely a different breed now playing.
It's funny because now it used to be one person going off who didn't get no playing time, and now he's starting the team, and now you get 3, 4, 5 of them coming together, which ultimately makes it easy because these guys, they still are resourceful in some type of way, and they come together, and it's like you do that out of spite and animosity, and then you expect success. And it's like, see me, I get it done the hard way. I believe in starting from the bottom and working your way up to the top. And I feel that a lot of these teams, they just so thirsty for success that you try too hard, and you try so hard that you actually end up taking yourself completely out of the picture because people expect something and then you give them the complete opposite. You might have a team full of dogs, but your coaching staff are these guys who didn't get no playing time. from these other teams, they stink. So they can't get you the wins that you need. So now you got everybody leaving, and then here we go. Here come another team. So it's like, let's just grind, and whoever grinds the hardest is gonna win.
Hey, facts. So, Coach Melton, this question is for you. What accomplishment in your coaching career are you most proud of? Because I know you got a lot of them. If y'all don't know, Coach Melton's resume as a coach, you're gonna know it at some point. So first of all, let's go ahead. You can answer that question, and then you could give them a breakdown of your resume in case they don't know who Coach Melton is.
So it's easy to say my accomplishments that I'm most proud of is a championship. That's to me, that feels like a cheap answer. I will say this. The accomplishment that I'm most proud of isn't Bronco related. It's quite the opposite, actually. The one I'm most proud of, it actually comes from a rival, and that's the Northeast Ohio Silverbacks. And I grew up in this game, and I can say that I grew up in this game with Donald and Chris Foster. We was teammates. We practiced together. People complain now, but back in them days, there was only 10 of us at practice. Donald, Chris, and I, we was 3 of those 10 every week. And then we had our little rivalry. Donald and I had our little beef and stuff, and we passed it up, came together in 2018. But we formed what I would consider probably the greatest bond in semi-pro in 2018 and 2019.
For sure.
So that to me was the accomplishment that I could take over a championship any day, because nobody thought that would ever happen. Donald and Jimmy hate each other. The Fosters and the Broncos, that's the purple team. That's we don't like them. They're the Broncos. But we made it.
Hold on. Cut that. Hey, don't laugh at that, Q.
Yeah, but that's how bad it was, right, Donald? And we can agree on that. It wasn't just for show. It wasn't just for social media. There was a lot of beef there. And this wasn't just a football beef. We all felt some kind of way about each other. I don't know where it came from, to be honest. I really don't. And I couldn't tell you today. But we legitimately had a beef. It was a real beef. It wasn't fake. It wasn't for show. We didn't do it for social media. It was literally like this in the games. We had a game canceled in the fourth quarter as I think it was 6-6.
Yeah.
Referees walked off the field. That's how bad it was. And so my greatest accomplishment was burying that and becoming champions together. Something that nobody thought we would ever be able to do. And we done it.
Yeah.
We done that. We brought one back to Akron, Ohio. We brought one back to our city together.
For sure.
So to me, that's my greatest accomplishment on this level of football. And the one that I'm most proud of is that moment.
Sure.
All right, so Coach Foster, we got a question for you.
Yeah.
Charles Scott said, what do you feel needs to change to make the game of semi-pro better?
What I think needs to change to make the game of semi-pro better is they need to cut out social media. Like Lynn said, when the Facebook group started coming about, it took the game of basically shit talking to a whole nother level. Now you able to shit talk, personally to somebody 5, 6, 6 or 5, 6, 7 days before the game. And then that transferred to being on the field. And then it's like, now with the internet, people feel like they're, harder than what they really are. So you let things be said that you really shouldn't be said. And then you get to going back and forth, and then you get to meeting somebody, and then you get to bringing pistols to the game, and you get to fighting, and, it's all because of words. It ain't because he beat you on a slant route and told you to step your game up. It ain't because of that. That's football talk. But this dude said 4 days before the game that he was gonna slap your mama. And then now all of a sudden you get to the game and your mindset is we're the nigga that said he's gonna slap my mama, or excuse my language, or we're the person that said he was gonna slap my mama. And it's like, you know what I'm saying? It takes the fun out of the game. We here for a purpose. Back when I used to play, we didn't have Facebook. So we couldn't talk to the other team until game day. And when we talked to the other team during game day, we said what we had to say. And when the game was over, that was it. Wasn't no fighting and, you know, throwing chairs and having riots and having security at the game. It wasn't none of that, man. We was all coming together playing football. And when the game was over, we was cool, laughing, and getting up out of there, man. So yeah, if I could change something, take social media out of the game. That's NFL, pro, wherever you look at it. That social media is a big influence, and it hurts a lot of even of the pro teams.
I definitely agree with you on that. So, Mr. Lynn Townsend, can you share a pivotal moment in your career that shaped who you are as a player now?
Oof. I feel like my entire high school career kind of shaped me into the player I am, but also the coach I am as well. Football in DC, I'll say, isn't as big as football in Ohio. And I just feel like I was not developed the way I wanted to be or desired to be when I was in high school. So it kind of left me in a bad spot when I went to walk on at Kent State. And from, ever since then, I've just been working.
Hey, I ain't mad at that. That's a great question. And I actually got a backup question to that, but I'm gonna ask it later. It's similar, part A, part B. But Mr. Scott got a question for you, Coach Jimmy. He said, if you could name your all-time starting O-line, who you picking and at what position? So he want to start stuff already, I see. So that's for you, Coach Jimmy. That's your old lineman asking questions.
Jimmy, hey man, before you answer that question, Jimmy, think about who asked that question.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Charles Scott's a brother, man, and he always needs reassurance from Big Brother, and I'm his big brother, so he will always be part of my starting five, and that's not family related, right? Because I didn't know Charles Scott from a hole in the ground when I met him. So yeah, he would definitely be on there, just to make him feel a little bit better. He's about to have my godson here soon, so I got to make him. I got to keep him happy so he don't pull that title from me. But no, there's been a lot of great offensive linemen that I've had the pleasure of working with, and I know a lot of people might have some questions about the first name I'm going to mention, but Donald Foster would be part of my starting five offensive line.
I appreciate that.
And
you earned that one. You earned it.
This is when Donald earned it from me, right? Because like I said, we played together. We practiced together. I know how great Donald was, right? What solidified it for me was 2019, our championship season. We was winning football games, yes, but we was getting beat up. Donald knows that. Anybody that followed the Silverbacks that year knows that we was getting beat up. Donald was the coach at that time, for his own reasons that I'm not going to discuss, but he was like, Jimmy, I'm going to suit up. I'm like, you're my anchor. And that's over Charles Scott. That's over Brandon Wallace. We had an amazing offensive line already. Donald came in and changed that season. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that we wouldn't have won a championship if Donald didn't dress. I'm saying that we won a championship because Donald did dress. And because he was that easy to plug in and we was on the same wavelength. There's not a lot of players that you could be like, that's my anchor. I can talk to him. He knows exactly what I want. I don't even have to say nothing. It's just a simple look, a simple nod, simple hand gesture. And that's where Donald comes in at. So Donald and Charles Scott would be two of my five. Todd Russell from Erie.
Big,
Hell of an athlete.
for sure. For sure.
You know, um, Chris Cousins.
Mm-hmm.
I would put him on the offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's a hell of an athlete. Believe it or not, Chris was that guy at one point in his career. There's so many people that I can name. So I'll just leave it at those ones as my top four. How about that?
Okay, for sure.
Because the fifth one, we all know when you play semi-pro football or pro advancement football, if you're a defensive lineman, you're an offensive lineman.
Facts.
You know, I could put Chris Foster in there as my starting 5 offensive linemen,
Yeah,
and nobody can argue that.
yeah.
I could put in a million other people. Dustin Dye, I could plug him in there.
For
Yeah.
sure.
You know, there's a lot of great people that I've shared a field with that I would put in there. So I can't name a legitimate starting 5, but those 4 I would take over any other 4 any time of the year.
Oh, I feel special.
All right, so let me ask you this question, then, Coach Melton. What do you believe makes a successful coach? Is it the players or is it the actual coach that makes themselves successful?
My fellow coaches are going to hate me for this. It's not us.
Facts.
It's not us. It's not. A year ago, I seen a comment on the Ohio Semi-Pro page. Jimmy's only benefited from the players around him.
Mm.
Duh. I have benefited from the players around me.
Mm-hmm.
You can teach anybody the game of football, but you have to have great athletes around you to really solidify you as a coach.
Mm-hmm.
So coaching, that's the easy part. Getting the athletes around you that buy into coaching, that's the hard part.
Facts.
So it's 100% the players that make you the coach that you are.
Facts.
Okay. So Lynn, I'm basically go dub and ask the same question. What do you believe makes a successful player? Because see, you know, at this level, it's kind of hard to gauge because a lot of people don't practice or a lot of people don't work on their crafts. So if you're not if you're not working on your craft outside of a practice, how can you become a more successful player? Like, what do you believe will make you a successful player?
Yeah,
Is it more working out on your own? Like,
yeah. So I was gonna say you kind of almost answered your question yourself.
I realized that. That's why I stopped talking a little bit.
You got to put the work in on your own. It's a lot of mental reps that go in it. Success comes from mental reps. Like a lot of guys overlook the fact that you have to visualize success before you succeed. To be a good player, you have to be consistent. That is the main thing. Consistency is everything. Like you could be a guy that is spectacular for one play, but that guy that's going to do the right thing and be where he's supposed to be every play is the guy that you need.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Mm-hmm. You got something for him, Coach Foster?
I got a question for Lynn. What do you think your greatest achievement was at this level?
My greatest achievement at this level. I was blessed to be welcomed into at the semi-pro level with the 2013 Ohio Golden Knights, who did not lose a game and won the league.
No, that's a hell of an introduction.
So we pretty much built a family from that year, and it's a blessing, man, just to come out and go 16-0, win a championship. And to still call those guys today my brothers, like Glenn Campbell, that's my mentor, really. Tyler Tanner, who moved down to Florida, that's my guy. I talk to him all the time. Tyler Curran, he joined OGK later on. Just got a head coaching job at Lutheran East. Is my guy. It's deeper. It was deeper than football. When the OGK brand.
Facts.
All right, so Lynn, this is for you as well, and I'm gonna come back and dub on this question as well with you, Coach Jimmy. What is your most memorable moment as a player and why? at this level? What can you at this level? What's the best you done ever had as far as your moment, like that moment where you like, wow, it happened?
Yeah. Ooh. I mean, since I just spoke on that 2013 championship, I'll pick the next one. It's probably gonna be the 2019 season with the Canton Pit Bulls. Um, that was a crazy year in itself. You know, just being on TV and everything like that, playing at Glen Oak. It was a crazy season. Playing in that championship against WPA Wildcats going into overtime, I think that was a crazy moment for me.
And what about you, Coach Jimmy?
2022 Pit Bulls.
Mm-hmm.
You know that you'll hear Putty and I talk about it all the time. That was probably the least talented football team that we ever had. And we've been doing this for a long time, but they didn't care, man. Like QU dressed for a game that season.
Definitely
You
did.
know, we went on the road. We played at home with a maximum of 25 players every game. I think the championship game was we had 32 on the sideline. You know, and to win it with that group of men, that was something special, man. Because we shouldn't have won it, if we be honest. But somehow we went undefeated and won a championship. You know, so that's my moment on this level with that group of men from 2022.
For sure.
So what about you though, Coach Foster? What
Man,
is your moment?
you know what my moment is. You know what I'm saying? I forget the year 2019 when we played the West Virginia Storm and in the championship and we won that game by inches. You know, they ended up having to do a measurement, and you know, we had a saying that they were short. You know, man, my guy, he had the video, and it was just went around and just went around and just went around because they was that. If they get that first down, you know, we don't know if they're gonna drive and score a touchdown. We don't know if we got the ability or the strength to stop them for the rest of the time that we got them on the field. But in order to win that championship, man, we had to stop them on that first down, and it was a very close stop, but it was a stop that, you know, basically has solidified our whole season, man. You know, we had a guy steal our money for our uniforms. So we had to go through and get some janky uniforms. We didn't care though at the end of the day because that season was kind of similar to the Broncos, where we just wanted to play football. We just had a group of guys that wanted to come together and literally do nothing but play football. And the outcome was we was gonna win regardless. So that basically was my best achievement for real.
All right. So Lynn, you've been, like I said, Lynn, you've been around this at this level for a good little minute. Like I said, you're probably one of the top 5 seasoned vets on this team. What advice would you give to the young player aspiring to reach the professional level from this level?
Oof. It is a super long shot, but it's not impossible. That I'll say first, it's not impossible, but you have to put in the work yourself. Like, it's going to be owners, it's going to be coaches that have connections, but if you are not putting in the work or willing to put in the work, it's not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What about you, Coach Jimmy? What advice would you give these young guys? Because we got a lot of young guys on our team. I think that for me, being around this level, I think this might be the youngest team I've been around. It's a lot of guys between 19 and 25. So what advice would you give them? I mean, I know Lynn said, you know, to put in the work for yourself, but what other advice would you give? Because see, me, I'm asking this question because I try to keep like my youth basketball team. I try to tell them, hey, if you're looking to pursue basketball and at the next level, it's just more than being good, it's more than being great, it's more than just the film. It's about your social media presence as well. So what would you tell the younger guys outside of just putting in the work, what else would you tell them, Coach Jimmy?
Well, as you guys know, I have a social media policy. And that social media policy isn't to be a jerk, right? I don't care that we're talking a little trash. I don't care that we're having fun. How you make yourself look on social media really reflects on who you are as a person. You know, uh, you could be the happiest guy in the world one day, and then all of a sudden you have a bad day, and you make this post because you're venting, right? Because we all do it. I've done it. I'm guilty of it. But once you do that, social media is to the world,
Mm-hmm.
and it takes one wrong person to see that and label you as not that guy we want.
Mm-hmm.
I always tell guys, I can open doors for you. It's up to you to walk through them. And that's one of my number one things that I talk to these young players about. Don't be on social media posting weed. Don't post a gun. Don't post your beef with your baby mom. Don't post your beef with your brother, your sister. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, as a coach on a professional level, a collegiate level, if I see that, I don't want you.
Mm-hmm.
And our young guys right now that we have, the last couple practices made me realize these kids played with my kids, right? I talked to a young man today that graduated last year. He played against my son a year ago. You know, you're old enough to be my child.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you the same thing I tell my kids. You work hard. If you want it, it's going to come to you.
Mm-hmm.
If you're waiting for me to open that door and hold your hand through it, it's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So, young guys, stay on social media. Stay off Instagram. Stay off TikTok. Stay off Facebook. If you don't have nothing positive to say, inbox the coach and talk to him privately.
Mm-hmm.
Because the world's going to view you as a problematic person and not want to deal with you if you post it socially.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Definitely
And
agree. Like,
yeah, that's the best advice I can give a young guy coming up now. You know, we can't help you if you're not helping yourself.
Mm-hmm.
and like I said, that's what I tell my basketball team. Because I work with a lot of the youth between the ages of 14 and 17, some a little bit younger, and I tell them because a lot of my kids, they want to pursue, they want to go to the second level, they want to go to the collegiate level, and I tell them it's still yeah, you could be the greatest player in the world, or you could be the best in your school, but them colleges look at your social media, whether you know it or not. They look at it, and that's my main advice. I tell them, I say, hey, listen, keep your business off social media,
Mm-hmm.
because you could the quicker they give you your scholarship, they can find your social media and take that scholarship from you. So with the young
Fact.
kids on our team, um, I tell them the same thing. Hey, listen, you got the talent, put in the work. But it ain't just all about work, it's about your character. Because a lot of these places look at character as well. I mean, think about it. NFL Combine, they interview these people, and they base some of their decisions off the
Fact.
answers that you give them.
Facts.
They will come and be like, yeah, I can see he's gonna be a problem just off
Yeah.
some of the questions just some of off the answers you give. So young kids or young men, not kids, young men at this level that is trying to advance to the next, it's more than, like I said, it's more than just football. It's also about your character.
Sure.
All right. Well, I know, Lynn, you already answered this question because you mentioned it earlier. um, so I'm kind of gonna jump to you, Coach Jimmy. Who has been your biggest influence or mentor in your career?
Jermaine Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
And I only laugh because Jermaine, you know, he's not older than I am, but that's a common thing that I notice. People always want to go to somebody older. You know, Jermaine introduced me to this world. Uh, a little history. I was doing alumni football, which is adult football across the nation. You know, I was setting it up. across the country. I was helped setting it up across Ohio. So I was really introduced to adult football before semi-pro.
Mm-hmm.
And then, one day I had a conversation with Jermaine Campbell on the phone, and he wasn't just a owner of a team. Uh, we sat in his basement for days when he had this vision. Right, he took me through the journey with him as and all I was just a player, you know. And I've known his family, and when Jermaine started the Golden Knights, I helped him out a lot behind closed doors. But when those doors was closed, it wasn't favors being passed back and forth. It was knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't think that I would be where I'm at today if I didn't take some of that knowledge that he passed on to me in his basement playing Madden. I don't think that I would be the owner that I am today because I had to learn a lot real fast. I was part of the original OGK year one. I was part of that team. Um, year two, I kind of went on my own way, but Jermaine and I kept a friendship afterwards, and I was there when the OFL started. I was there when the PAFL was started, and a lot of people don't like to admit it, but that man is smart, smart as hell,
Mm-hmm.
and his vision was and still is just unbelievable. You would really have to sit down and talk to him for about 5 minutes to understand his mindset or where he wants to take this level of football. And I can pass on a lot of credit to the guys now, that run these leagues. But these guys today wouldn't be where they're at if it wasn't for Jermaine. He literally laid the blueprint out. And so that's who my mentor was coming into this on this level. I learned a lot from a lot of great people. There's a lot of great men on this level. But had it not been for Jermaine, I wouldn't have met them either.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's who I consider a mentor in this level of football.
Sure.
What about you, Coach Foster?
Cool.
You. What about you? Who's? Yeah.
Far as coaching,
It don't matter. It could have been a coach. It could have been your uncle, your dad. Who's your mentor?
um, I always try to mentor or listen to my brother. He's probably my greatest mentor. He the one that brought me into semi pro. Um, we've always played together. It was situations just, probably in football and life, because football and life, they go hand in hand. So it's like it was a lot of situations where, you know, just watching and listening really played a factor. I went through this little stage when I first started playing where, couldn't nobody tell me nothing. I was a hothead. I was always, getting into it with somebody. And it was like, it took my brother to tell me basically, hey, dude, you need to calm down and shut up because you're not always right. And just over the time of process of me just now listening and following my brother's lead, it actually led me to meet some amazing people who helped shape and mold me throughout my whole semi-pro a little span that I had. So my brother, Willie Johnson, was one of them. RP to my homie, Rico Stamps was a heavy mentor for me. So it was like a lot of the guys that I played with, and, some of them are no longer here, but I just try to keep it going for them and, try to be that person to where now I can mentor somebody else and, possibly help lead them to where they need to be.
Okay. All right. So, Lynn, this next question is for you. What are your goals for the upcoming season? Whether it's personal goals or team goals, or you can either do both. What are your goals for this upcoming season?
I haven't really sat down and talked about what I want to accomplish, like individually. Um, but you guys know me. I want to. Sorry. Um, I want to be consistent. you know, I want to be the guy that encourages or influences everybody else to step up and be their 111th. You know, that's I'm big on team. Y'all know that. As a team, I would like for us to win a championship, but off the field, you know, it's way deeper than that. You know, conversations that me, you, and Jimmy have had is like we want to build something that is still around in 10, 15, 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Jimmy, personal goal, team goals. I mean, we all know that team goals is to win championship. We all know that. But is there anything outside of just winning that championship that you would like to accomplish this season?
You know, like Lynn said, we have a lot of conversation that we keep in house, just with us. You know, but I'm gonna share with everybody my end goal, my personal goal. I, I want to be able to teach you guys enough and give you guys the connections that I have on this level. One day to be the guy that sets up in the press box as just an owner.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that I don't trust the people that's here to be a coach. I don't think right now, until we win a championship, has the Broncos, that I can walk away from being a coach just because this is my baby. And I won a championship with everybody else. And I've helped everybody else get over that hump. I helped everybody else uh, make their dreams happen. And my dream and my goal has really been to win a championship with the Broncos, so I can pass this on to you, or I can pass this on to Lynn. I can pass it on to Donald. I can pass it on to whoever wants to take it and feel comfortable enough to say, we done this together, and now it's your responsibility to continue this legacy. Ultimately, the Broncos, our mission is as a team to win a championship, but also as a team to get these young guys out of here.
Facts.
Not every year do I want to see a 19, 20-year-old kid playing football with us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if we get a recycled them, or not recycled, I can't say that. If we get a new 19 to 20-year-old every year, I'm okay with that. I don't want to see the kid that grew up with us for 18 to the end of their career.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen guys like that.
Facts.
And this has a team goal beyond winning a championship. The
Mm-hmm.
team goal is to get these kids out of here.
Mm-hmm.
We want to keep them off these streets is our number one priority. But to keep them off the streets is to help them succeed in their goals and their dreams. So at the end of the year, if I can step back and say, hey, Q, hey, Lynn, hey, Putty, hey, Donald, hey, Chris, this y'all's headache now.
Mm-hmm.
I've been successful at this. You know, I have nothing left to accomplish. I have accomplished everything I needed to. So that's my goal personally at the end of this year.
For sure.
For sure, for sure, for sure. All right, so we gonna go ahead and get into this because we gonna go ahead and get into our March 30th matchup. Since we were already on that topic, we're definitely gonna get into this, and it'll be quick. We ain't gonna hold you too long. But March 30th, we are in Cincinnati, Ohio, 8101 Hamilton Avenue. We are in the MFOC showcase. Um, so we go get into a little bit about it. We're facing against the Cincinnati Hawks. Coach Jimmy already mentioned them earlier in the show. Their legacy they have left and they're bringing back. So let's get into this game. Let's dive a little deeper. Expectations is to go down here and win. We all know that. What is it going to take for us to go down here and accomplish that, Lynn?
Ooh, we have to execute. You know, that's a word that we overuse. You know, in the game of football is execution. Execution is everything. But we have to go down there with a mindset that, you know, we are going to compete by any means, whether we go down there with 20 or whether we go down there with 35, 40, 50. It's real simple when you write it down in X's and O's. So, you know, do your job.
What about you, Coach Foster?
Um, guys just need to realize that, it's football. Don't make the game bigger than really what it is. Go out there, do your job. Don't try to do the next man's job. Just do what you're supposed to do. Let the chips fall where they may. It's early into the season. We know what we got. We know what's missing, and we know what we need to work on far as a team and as a unit. So let's go down here, work on these things, and, hopefully come home with a W.
All right. And now, Coach Jimmy, I know you mentioned today at the practice, you told the guys that although we do want to come home with the W, that you're not focusing strictly on that. We're pretty much focusing on getting better for our upcoming season. Just why did you make that statement? Like because the younger guys, it's all about winning. I mean, it's all about winning in life, period. But what made you make that statement as far as you kind of not focusing on winning that game? I mean, you want to win it, but
Yeah,
you're
no,
focusing on
absolutely.
other things.
Absolutely. You never go into a football game with the mindset of I'm not going to win, right?
Yeah.
And that's just absurd of any coach to think that. It is okay as a coach to tell your players as an owner, and I was speaking as an owner today at practice. Um, just for the fact that, as we talked about this whole show, is we have a lot of very young guys, and most of these guys have never played on this stage what the MFOC has to offer us. And knowing that you got the University of Cincinnati right around the corner who's keeping an eye on these games. You got NFL referees, you got the Power Five or whatever they're called now, referees there, the Big Ten, SEC. You got a lot of big name people in your presence. So let's take our focus off of the outcome of the game. We know what we have as a team. We know what we're capable of as a team. But are you able to take that on a stage that's being presented to us on the 30th and hold it together?
Mm-hmm.
And that's my mission. And I'm taking myself out of the coaching position now, right? As an owner, if I take 35 guys out of our 52, 53 man roster, I'm okay with that because odds are those 35 guys are young. Our veterans, they're older. It takes a little bit longer for them bones to warm up. We understand that. We've been here long enough. We understand that. So I have an opportunity to take my organization, turn it over to my coaching staff, my excellent coaching staff, so they can work their experience and their leadership on these young boys and really mold them from March 30th moving forward into the season. So no, my focus as an owner isn't on winning the game. My focus as an owner is seeing the leadership that I have built on this staff lead these young men into one of probably the biggest challenges that they're going to. And let's be honest, this is probably the biggest game of their season. And they don't even realize it yet until they get there, And so that's kind of my mindset going into this game on the 30th.
Yeah, because from the experience, like I said, if for the ones, especially with our that just signed this year, um, we got to experience it last year, and I'm not gonna tell you no lie, it was amazing. I've been in college stadiums, but never been on the field. Like, so being in University of Cincinnati and being able to walk the field, it was an amazing experience. And so for these younger guys, I definitely hope they take full advantage of it. I definitely hope they take full advantage of it. One last question, and then we go wrap the show up. And it's still about this game, March 30th. I'm sorry, so used to saying May, March 30th. The outcome we had last year, it wasn't great. What was I saying? Oh yeah, the outcome we had last year wasn't great. Um, with and this is for you, Coach Jimmy. Do you think you have a better chance this year than we did last year? because we got a lot of new key pieces. Again, a lot of young pieces. Do you think we have a better shot this year than we did last year?
All right, so on this one, I'm going to take off the owner's hat. I'm going to put on the office coordinator's hat. Uh, so now I'm going to speak as a coach here. Um, Last year was humbling, right? And anybody knows me, I've been very humble my entire career. Uh, March 30th, I'm just going to simply say that we're going down with full intentions on punching these guys in the mouth. And that has to be my players' mindset, especially on the offensive side of the ball where we struggled a lot. And anybody that watched that game last year, we didn't have an offense. Let's be real. And our defense held up as best as they could with the struggles of our offense. So this year, offensively, I will say with confidence that we're going into this game with a mindset of punching them in the mouth and setting the tone from the beginning, which is something that we did not do last year.
All right. What about you, Mr. Lynn Townsend?
I'm just gonna piggyback off of what Jimmy said. You know, being down there and experiencing it, seeing the same thing that you guys saw last year. Yeah, I mean the mindset has got to be different, but you know, being in the huddle and everything, I think we do have a slightly better chance. But we also, you know, have not seen what we're gonna face on March 30th. So
All right. And what about you, Coach Foster?
Um,
'Cause see, I don't know if you seen the game last season
I'm gonna
or
be in
not.
the game last year. We was young. We still have a lot of youth this year. But just like Coach Jimmy said, we got full intention on going down here and playing hard nosed physical football. You know, at the end of the day, we coming down there to play football and we coming down there to try to win. Um, you know, man, we're not gonna be out of line. Anything that's gonna happen is gonna be in between the lines and other lines of football, and we're gonna try to get out of there with a dub.
All right. Well, there you have it, fellas. This is actually, like, again, this is our very first Ohio Broncos Weekly. We will be coming to you doing this weekly as the season kicks off. Again, I got my guy, player rep, Lynn Townsend, uh, owner, offensive coordinator, everything, Mr. Everything, Jimmy
Mister,
Melton, Mr. Everything, because he kind of does everything for the team as well, Mr. Jimmy Melton. And I got my co-host, Mr. Coach Donald Foster. So how I like to do these shows is I like to close them out on a positivity note.
okay.
So whatever comes to your mind. Oh, I'm sorry. First of all, let's give a shout out to our 2025 sponsors, the TGBG, Mr. Lynn Townsend. Give a shout out for your. Let them know where they can find your merch and things of that nature.
yeah, you can follow me on Facebook and Instagram at TGBG Brand. Go to tgbgbrand.com, and I'm working on some new stuff, so look out.
All right, and Mr. Jimmy.
Jimmy's details. Follow me. I'm not fancy like Lynn, so you can just follow me on Facebook. Uh, I'm old, so hit me up on Facebook. We'll get you together.
All right, and we got a couple of more sponsors. Putty's Bar. If y'all ain't never ate at Putty's Bar, I'm telling you, man, y'all missing some good food, man. Listen, he's the first person that ever made me say, and this is, I ain't gonna no Diddy. We gonna say no Diddy. The first person that ever made me say I want Putty's balls, because so no Diddy, but that's the
The
first
putty
person ever. When I
balls.
tell you the food is good, man, it's delicious. Make sure y'all check them out. Also, if you want a vehicle wrapped or commercial residential, you can also check out our tent techs with Rashid. I can't remember his last name right off the back. But Rashid, you can find them on Facebook at Tent Tech as well. They do some great work. I think I shared some of their work on our Ohio Broncos page. Make sure you go and check those guys out, and make sure you check out all our sponsors. Whether you need some clothes, you need your car detail, or you need your car tent, or you just want to go and eat some great food. make sure you check out our sponsors. All right, but again, we go close out on a good note, and I'm gonna start with you, owner Jimmy.
So I want to leave off with this. Greatness is meant to be hard.
Mm-hmm.
Take your struggles, battle now,
Mm-hmm.
and greatness will come to you when it's time to come to you. Don't force it. Let it happen naturally.
Right.
All right, what about you, Lynn?
I'm gonna just say, to God be the glory. Y'all know me.
Facts.
All right, easy and simple. And what about you, Coach Foster?
Just try to treat others the way that you would like to be treated, and that's just simple.
All right. Well, again, we had a great show. We appreciate everybody that tuned in, commented, interacted with us. Again, we will be doing this often, very often throughout the season. We will have a couple of more shows before the season kicks off, where we'll discuss, scheduling and things things who got somebody said who got candy for sale. I don't know who's selling candy, but okay, Curtis. But yeah, yeah, I don't know. I ain't said it about candy, but okay. We got some Girl Scout cookies for sale if you want to buy some. But other than that, man, again, like I said, we appreciate everybody that tuned in tonight, man. Again, this is our first show. It'll get better and better for him. I am Quentin Moss. I got Coach Donald Foster, Mr. Lynn Townsend II, Mr. Jimmy Melton. We are Ohio Broncos Weekly, and we out.